What's up? This is Brian from Shadows Fall, and this is on richardthinks.org. Fuck what Richard thinks.
Hey everybody, this is Richard of richardthinks.org. Today we are at Empire in Springfield, Virginia for the Divinity of Purpose tour featuring Hatebreed, Shadows Fall, Dying Fetus, and The Contortionist. I have with me Brian, lead singer of Shadows Fall. How are you doing today, man?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Good. So last 4 days of tour starting today. How's it been so far?
Oh, it's been awesome, man. It's been a killer run. We covered a lot of ground in a short amount of time. Somehow we went from the Midwest to the West Coast, back to the Midwest, down to Florida, and back up to the East Coast. So all in 3 weeks.
That must have been really, really bad.
It's been a grind. It's been like 8-hour drives almost every night, but the shows have all been sick, man. The crowds are really coming out. It's a cool mix of bands too. You know, the Contortionist is like bringing kind of a proggy, mellower vibe to the, you know, and then Dying Fetus was just straight up brutal death metal, and then and us and Hatebreed, we've been sharing stages for over a decade together, so it's cool to be back out with those dudes, and it's just been awesome.
It's like a perfect little cake, you know, of every inch of covering the metal genre.
Yeah, it really does cover a lot of ground, which is cool for fans. You know, like you want to see bands that have a similar, you know, genre, but you want to hear some different stuff and not just hear the exact same idea over and over and over again. So it's cool, man.
And then, you know, you guys are like playing like a little bit smaller venues. Like I believe Empire is about like, I want to say probably 500.
Caps probably between 5 and 7 or so. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but yeah, it's been more club shows, which have been awesome because they've just been packed and
like
and
in your face. Right?
Yeah, and been pretty crazy. You know, a Hatebreed crowd gets pretty insane as it is, but so when they're all packed into a small place, it can be pretty extreme. So it's been awesome though.
So, like, since you're like good friends with Hatebreed, have there been any memorable moments so far on this tour?
You know, it went by so fast. The most memorable moments, we've had a couple nights to get out and really hang, but nothing too crazy. Like I said, we've been doing it for so long that all our crazy moments, that shit happened like back in the day, and we've all learned since then. And also, us old men don't have the energy like we used to. So crazy stories are getting fewer and far between. Craziest things usually like, oh man, we tried to watch the Super Bowl and fell asleep before the end. You know? So.
Or were you guys playing a show?
Yeah, we were in Reno. Great place to gamble on the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It was a great day, man. I got to hit a skate park during the day. Then Hatebreed turned their dressing room into like Super Bowl party spot. Even hooked up like a bunch of extra speakers and shit. And then we played a great show. So it was killer. It was a good day.
That sounds awesome. Yep. So, you know, your latest album, Fire from the Sky, has been out, you know, for a year. So how's the reception been so far compared to your previous releases and the album cycles, obviously, as well? Yeah,
it's been great, man. The reviews are really, really good, which is always cool. But for us, it's more about seeing how the songs go over live. And we've been playing 3 tunes off of it, like on this tour, and the response has been killer. Because that's really, for metal song, that's your final, like, judgment, like, ground, you know, is... you know, the record, you want to kill it on the album, but you want to see how that song goes over once you hit it to the stage. So, and it's been great. So, and as far as musically, you know, I think for us, it's really just a progression of what we've done over 7 albums. We're always going to have kind of the same groundwork and framework that we write within, but we always want to push it a little bit further and further. And I think we did that on this album. So.
All right, so like, has there been any tunes so far that, you know, that you wish could bring in live from the new album that you haven't yet?
Yeah, there's a few. Actually, I was just thinking about this one the other day. The song "Lost Within" would be fun live, I think. And maybe when our next round of shows, maybe we'll bust that out. This time we're playing "Way to the World," which I almost insisted was in the set because it's just such a crazy song. It starts out with just, you know, crazy drum fills and sweeps and blast beats, and I was like, it's one of those songs that just there's no like warm up. You're just like bang, you know. So I wanted to do that one live, which been awesome. Another one I would like to do, Blind Faith would be fun, but it's like 8 minutes long. So that's for like a headlining set. Yeah. You know, that's the problem with 45-minute like sets and 7 albums. Yeah. It's getting tougher and tougher to pick what to play without having to leave out something you want to do.
So like, I'm assuming like during tour rehearsals, you guys like, how do you guys go about picking a song since you guys have such an extensive catalog?
Yeah, you know, it's tough. We really everyone kind of throws out their 2 cents and we whittle away what we can. There's also a few tuning changes, so you got to work that into consideration on how many tunes you can do in one tuning without guitar changes, and you don't want that happen in every other song.
And then take up set time.
Yeah, exactly. So and then it comes down to what flows well too, because we've had some songs on the set I was really excited about playing, and you play them live and it's kind of like you know,
it doesn't go over.
It's kind of a speed bump, you know.
Yeah.
So you just mix it up, and but for us too, we also, there's certain tunes we've been playing forever, like What Drives the Week and songs like that. So for this tour, we're like, let's finally retire that one for like a few months, and you know, just to mix it up for ourselves. So you don't want to be like do the greatest hit set every time, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, like, you know, every fan will come out to every show no matter who you're touring with, and, you know, that's good that you're switching it up, you know, because some fans don't want to see, you know, the same show, but, you know, some fans won't care, but
yeah,
you got to be able to meet every...
If you catch someone on the same tour cycle, like, say, 2 or 3 times, and they play the exact same set, you're like, that was cool, but it would have been nice to hear at least something different, so we try to mix it up every time. But certain tunes that start, you know, on that tour cycle that are just going well, you just want to keep playing. Like, once we put the song War into the set, it's become a staple just because we just have such a blast playing it, and the crowd response is always fun, awesome, so that one sticks around.
So, like, do you ever get like fan requests like on Twitter? Because I know you're very active on Twitter. And
yeah, you know, occasionally, and if someone, like, you know, like a lot of times we'll kind of forget about a tune that we haven't played in a while, and someone will be like, oh, how come you guys don't play Stepping Out the Side of the Circle? And we're like, I don't know, that's a good idea, you know, and you'll dust it off, you know. So, yeah, you know, we're always pretty active between Facebook and Twitter of direct contact with fans. So if they got suggestions, we'll listen. Doesn't mean we'll actually do it, but we'll listen.
It's a voice.
Yeah.
So, you know, talking about Facebook, you know, and Twitter, do you feel that, you know, nowadays when you guys first started, you know, back when the internet was still, everybody was, you know, didn't have internet. How do you feel like the internet now has impacted, you know, the music industry and everything?
It's changed really the whole game, for better and worse. There's been great ways where the contact with the fans and the being able to really keep them up to date, whether it's tour dates or, you know, album announcements or whatever. That's amazing. The one thing is it's definitely kind of taken some of the mystery out of it too, though. You know, and it's oversaturated things where there's just so much going on that I think sometimes fans can get just overwhelmed by the onslaught of information and press releases and all that stuff. And
overanalyzing.
Yeah, and yeah. So it's been good and bad. The good is definitely has outweighed the bad, though, where you're really able to spread the word so much quicker and worldwide than you could before. When we first started, there was message boards, but, you know, it was few and far between, and it was pretty much people just talking shit, you know. So it's been crazy to see how much it's grown, and if you didn't really try to avoid the whole social networking thing, it's really will affect your band, you know, as far as just how to keep in the public eye and stuff. So.
Now, in your career when MySpace first launched, did you guys utilize that, right?
Oh yeah, we definitely did. We tried to, you know, our management at that time was pretty like tech savvy and up on new stuff, so we tried to stay up on it. Younger bands now, though, I mean, they've surpassed us in ways because they're just technologically better than us. As far as we'll post photos and little videos, but we're, you know, some dudes are editing stuff right off a stage and crazy, you know, like all this stuff.
Like 10 minutes.
Yeah, and it's unbelievable to see.
Or Instagram shot from like while the show's happening. That's
always, it's great, man. I love taking a crowd, because we'll do it occasionally ourselves. I'll just snap one with the iPhone, you know, from stage, and you're like, that's already up, and we're still not even done. You know? So it's definitely super cool. We try to be as good about it as we can be. We should even be better. But at least when we're on tour, we try and stay in touch all the time.
Definitely.
It's also a good way for us to find stuff in different towns, like, you know, where's a skate park, where's a cool bar, you know, like, and, you know, people can hit you immediately. So it's cool. That's cool.
And also, you know, you could also just search it like on Yelp, and, you know, it's pretty much changed, like, you know, the whole world. Yeah,
when we first started touring in a van, especially even the early Shadows Fall days, but even before that, when we were all in different bands together, you were rolling on tour with like some dude's number, and you had to find a payphone to get directions, and there was no GPS, there's no phone apps, and I'm like, how did we pull it off? I'm like, I can't even believe it happened, or people even knew about it. How did people know? A few flyers stuck up at the record store. So it's crazy how much it's changed, and I can't imagine touring without all that stuff now. So.
Or even like 5 or 10 years from now, like just a year is a lot in technological years.
It's the turnover isn't as slow as it was before. But what used to take 5 years to get to now takes a year to like advance. It's crazy.
And like a new iPhone model comes out every year.
Yeah, I'm outdated on everything. I'll never. I gave up trying to keep up. Even with video games, I'm always on like number 3 if there's 6. You know, like I'm always behind.
That's how I am too.
So yeah, I'll try. I don't even try to keep up.
All right. So John's going to be heading out on the Metal Alliance tour with Anthrax. Have you guys got a replacement for him yet?
Well, we're only doing these few shows. We have Felipe from the band Acaro from Boston doing that. But yeah, fortunately, this was going to be a time where we were taking a chunk off from the road. I have my first kid on the way soon, so I gotta get home. Thank you. I gotta get home and help the wife out with things around the house. So we were gonna take time off from touring, and when he had the opportunity to join Anthrax, you know, for that chunk, it was for him. It's that's a band he had posters of up on his wall when he was a kid, so he's super stoked. Plus, he can stay busy while we were gonna be off the road. And it's funny though, because Jason, our drummer, filled in for Anthrax on Mayhem, so we're becoming like the minor leagues for Anthrax, you know, and they need a call up. You know, they're just like hit us up like, you guys busy? If we're off the road, someone joins. You know. So
right on, I love that.
Yeah, so Joey, if you get a sore throat, just call me. I got nothing to do.
He'll do it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about your side project, Death Ray Vision, a bit. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's just something that kind of started when Mike D from Killswitch Engage had a bunch of just kind of more like old school hardcore songs he was working on, just messing around, and you know, knew they weren't really Killswitch type of material. And we used to play together in a band called Overcast, and they weren't necessarily Overcast type of material, so we didn't want to put them under that name. So we started working on these tunes. We got Pete, who used to be in Overcast, to come in on guitar, and our friend Colin from who used to be in the band Kanai, and Year of Our Lord on drums, and our friend Zach on other guitar, who plays actually in a bunch of Boston bands these days, and it just kind of came together. We were having fun, just recorded an EP for the, you know, just kind of for the fun of it, on our own, and just really were psyched on how it came out, and that kind of led to the idea of doing a full length, which we just finished recording and mixing. I'm not sure when it's going to be coming out. We're starting to work on a release date because Mike's about to be super busy with the new Killswitch record coming out. So we were hoping to get it out sometime early this year, but it's looking like it's going to probably be more like May or summer. So yeah, it's killer, man. It's more like minute-and-a-half songs, kind of in the vein of like old school Integrity and like Sick of It All and a Cro-Mags kind of vibe.
All killer, no filler?
Yeah, yeah. Just these songs are straight to the point. For me, vocally, they're really raw. Like, you know, with Shadows Fall, we'll do a lot of work with like harmonies and layering and different stuff, and I double a lot of stuff. With this, I kind of just kept it like raw, gritty, and just nasty, and just kind of let it all hang out. So it was fun. It's a totally different style, even though it's like heavy still and thrashy. It's very different than what I do in Shadows Fall, so it's fun to kind of get that vibe out. So
you guys signed with Bullet Tooth to release the album. So how did you guys go about in picking them to release the album?
You know, he just hit us up and knew we were working on new songs, and you know, we've known him since the Trustkill days and stuff like that, so it's just someone we were really comfortable with and knew he had the right vibe. Also, he knew that we were like a band that wasn't exactly going to be able to be super active touring like crazy because of all our other projects. So it just made the most sense, and he was also willing to do vinyl, which helped a lot as well. So I'm stoked. We're gonna have like a crazy swirl version of the 7-inch. We're gonna do another vinyl release of the full length. So stoked.
So how's this new album for Death Ray Vision going to be compared to your 2011 EP?
I'd say it's actually a little thrashier, and maybe a little more just like hard. You know, like it's pretty hard, and I got to get pretty silly with some of the lyrics and just got to tough it out, you know, in some fun ways. I had fun with a lot of these lyrics. Some are like really serious and to the point, and others are just kind of like almost like over the top tough guy stuff, you know. So it was fun.
So if you were to be stranded on a desert island and you could only bring 3 things with you, what 3 things would you bring with you?
3 things total?
3 things total.
My wife, my dog, and a guitar.
And if the entire band was stranded on a desert island, who do you think would be the first to go?
Ooh. Ooh. Dude, it wouldn't take long for all of us to be dead. If we knew that was forever, ooh, that wouldn't last long. See, I gotta think it's either who would set the person off or who would actually do something first, you know? So that's what I gotta think. I think, you know, if Matt didn't have beer, he would kill himself first. So that's how it will go down.
All right.
That's sad but true. You would.
So if you could see any band or artist cover a Shadows Fall song, who would you want to see covered?
Holy shit.
And by who?
You know, just so they'd go completely weird out there, just to hear like Muse do a song or something like that, or even like Gorillaz or something like that. Like, who would take it to a whole different level, make it some weird trip hop poppy thing, you know?
And it still would sound like Shadows Fall.
Yeah, you know, that would be cool, because Muse could definitely do it, because that dude's got all the guitar licks down, you know? He could definitely shred it out, so. But he'd probably do it in some weird, crazy, spacey way that would be awesome.
With like trippy lights.
Yeah, dude,
I've seen them,
their
like,
stage show, dude,
incredible.
Every band's envious of all that. You're like, dude, that's production.
I know.
It's like we got a backdrop. You know.
We're really lucky to even get a stage scrim.
Yeah,
and they got like a spaceship.
Yeah, totally, man. Those dudes are stoked.
So I saw you got plenty of tattoos, right? So if
decent amount. Yeah.
Decent amount. Yep. So if you could pick, can you pick one and show it to us and tell us the meaning behind it?
Let's see, I guess we can get to this one pretty easy.
Just bring it up to the camera.
Yeah. This one is a lotus that's opening into smoke, and that's turning into a dragon being held by a Buddha. And it's just kind of a symbol of like, through like peace and oneness, you can find strength, you know, like from the serenity of the Buddha to like the power of the dragon. So it's kind of that transition thing.
Epic.
So Yeah, and my boy Mike Shea from Boston, Mass, a Redemption Tattoo, did that one. So used to be my roommate, so I used to get a lot more tattoos because it was way easier when he'd be like, "Want to get tattooed tonight?" I'm like, sure. But so
typical Friday night.
Yeah, I was like, this is great, you know. But yeah, he's an awesome artist, and that one's probably my favorite one.
Right on. So is there anything else that you'd like people to know about you, Shadows Fall, or anything else?
Just, you know, we're going to be laying low from the road for a little while. Besides we're actually hopping on that Metal Alliance tour for like 5 dates with Anthrax,
really?
with John doing double duty. And then we got a show in Puerto Rico, and then after that, I got to go into new daddy mode. So we'll be laying low, but we'll be staying active on, you know, whether it's Facebook or Twitter. You can hit me up direct at Brian Shadfall, or through our Facebook. If you talk to anyone, it's someone in the band. You know, it's never like someone at the label or anything like that. So. So, you know, even though we won't be on the road, we'll be staying busy. We're probably going to start writing, and hopefully we may even do an EP in the downtime. If we have like 3 or 4 songs ready, we might just record them and put it out. Because these days, like we were talking about the internet, the album cycle's changing.
Yeah.
Kids' attention spans aren't able to wait a whole year and listen to 10 songs at once.
Or like,
you know,
2 years.
Just give them like a little bit here and there, you know.
Or even if it's like a live cover, like professionally filmed version.
Just something. We actually have the drums to a few cover songs already ready, so maybe we'll go in the studio and finish those off. So we're gonna be staying busy. We just won't be on the road, so stay in touch through the interwebs.
The interwebs. Through the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Yes.
Right on. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk with me.
Thanks for spreading
Congrats on being a new father.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
And this is Richard, richardthinks.org, Brian of Shadows Fall, and we'll see you later.